I have some odds and ends that I've been intending to show in other videos, and then I forget, and so I'm going to take care of those now before I completely forget. One of them I did want to show, this is my Book of Days journal that I've showed before. You don't need to see that. But I made a title page for it. And, I did my first week's challenge was right here. I left this one blank, intending to do a title page, and then last night, or the night before, I went ahead and did that, and just used some stick-on letters, and there's painted the background, and then over that, I glued this piece of paper, this painted paper, that was a jelly print, that it turned out kind of, didn't really like it. So I just used some markers to trace around the outlines of the print, and then filled in with some other markers. And I've actually been doing that a lot lately. And I thought that I had showed that in a video, but I don't think that I really did. I think I've just thought about it so much that it felt like I videoed it, and I never actually did. So, I will show you that. And that is what, okay, I wish one of these days I'm going to get a camera that has an autofocus zoom thingy so you can see up close, because I know you really can't see the detail. But here's how I did it. And I just made up a whole bunch of jelly prints, and I've talked before about how I videoed that whole process, and it was wonderful. And then during my attempts to edit that video, I deleted the whole thing, gone completely. And I just haven't had a chance to sit down and refilm another jelly printing video, but I'll do that someday. But I made a whole bunch of prints. Some of them turned out great. I loved them. Some of them, kind of iffy. They could use a little spiffing up. And then some of them were just like, my clean-off sheets to clean the plate off. And I saved all of them, of course, because you just never know. And if you look back at a video I did, I'll put a link to it. I don't know how long ago, a few weeks ago, a month ago, and it was some background papers that were inspired by Roben-Marie Smith, and that's the title of the video is something about Roben-Marie's background painted papers or whatever. And in that video, I used some of these jelly prints and just kind of doodled all over them to make doodly background papers, kind of like Roben-Marie Smith's Art Pops. So, from there, it just sort of kept going. Let me find those, because I know I showed those on that video. And they are here. Oh. Okay, did a few more than I thought, really. Alright. They were these. Just, and these I think have even changed since I did the video, because I wasn't finished with them. They were kind of in process. And I believe, is that the one? Yeah, this is the one that just looked like fried eggs. If you go back on that video, this was just big old fried eggs. I had to do something about that. So I ended up coloring them in and adding other things. So, yeah, that helped. But these started off as kind of reject jelly prints that I doodled on, and then some of them I even wrote on, because, that's what she did. So I tried it, and it was okay. And I like the way some of them turned out. Some of them not so much. I'm not crazy about that one. I do like this one. I think it's pretty. These are more Shannon, rather than Roben-Marie Smith. You can see I sort of, started out by really, really imitating what she did, and then it kind of morphed into my own thing. So these are more of what it morphed into. The more I started making them, it started picking up more of my own style, which I think is just fascinating. That one, yeah, that one's got to be my favorite. I really, really like that one. And then here, see, it's just continuing to morph into more of Shannon doodles. And then there's that one. But they all started out as jelly prints, and then I doodled on them and then added more color in the background with markers. So They almost look like a painted paper, but they're not. They're just, you know, jelly print cast-offs, really. So that's what kind of got the ball rolling, is using those jelly prints and doodling on them, kind of like Roben-Marie Smith did. But the way they start out, and this is all about that title page, wherever it went. Where'd I put it? It was just here. Here it is. But that's how I did this. Was just that jelly print, and then I just took some markers and started outlining the patterns and adding more. In fact, this particular piece of paper is on that last video. So you can go back to that video and you will see this piece. And it had the print right here. This over here was pretty much blank. So I just took the print, started adding color and outline, and then doodling on it. And then it just turns into something completely different. And I'm really liking that. This one, I just added some white lines and then some colors to the background. A lot of these you'll see on that last video, and they've kind of changed. This one I just outlined. You can tell I like this zebra print one a lot. I haven't done much to it, just outlined it. I like outlining things. I like tracing things. I don't know why. That's a little bit, it's almost therapeutic for me. I don't know what it is about that. This one I just dearly love. I just love the way this turned out. This one, I don't even know what that is. Was that a jelly print? I don't think. I don't recall having a stencil like that. That looks like something off of a microscope slide. I think maybe that's Ebola. That's what that is. We'll call that Ebola. And one of my other favorite stencils is this honeycomb print one. And I really like it because I love tracing the honeycombs. And that's what I did. It, you know, printed it, and it was kind of funky. So I used some markers and some gel pens and just started tracing and doodling. Same thing on that one. Used some paint pens there. Yeah, see that? I just really love doing this. So that's how I did the background for this right here. Just took a kind of a sad jelly print and then outlined the pattern with markers and added more color with markers with those pit pens, because you know they're really blendy. So that's all that is. Those are some of my handmade stencils. These still need more on them, but they got potential. And then these, I just didn't do anything with the stencil. I just wrote on them. I think this is a poem or part of a story or something. So on a couple of them I just put handwriting on the background, and then I will go in later and add some patterns. And these are some dot ones. And this one you can also see on that last video. It was kind of plain, and I added all of this color into it and traced with black the little pattern of the stencils. This one is really turning into something fabulous. I don't know what, but I'm kind of loving it. So there is yet another option for your stencils and or jelly printing. Just trace those suckers. Why not? It's the same thing as putting paint in them. You're just using a marker around the edge. So anyway, that makes me very happy. And I'm going to keep working on those, and then I've got a whole stack. These I haven't even touched yet that are candidates for that technique or something else. But I will work on those. And as you can see, I do not like to jelly print on plain paper. I prefer phone book pages are awesome. Book pages, dictionary pages, old pages out of an old ledger. You know, anything kind of different like that. Okay, so that's what I did there for that title page in my little book. And I showed you that because I did film my week 1 challenge, I did film that. Yay me. Can we all acknowledge that I did remember to actually film me doing something instead of talking about it later? Because I know I'm bad about that. Y'all have to remember, I don't have a studio. I have what I call an art room. It is a bedroom where I store all of my art supplies. There is no work table in here. This is a bed that I'm on, and it's got a piece of cardboard on it. So occasionally people need to sleep in this bed, and I have to clear it out. So, I don't have a studio working space where I can sit at a table. I usually take my project and it's in my lap on the couch downstairs or somewhere, and it's just not easy to film. So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it, by gosh. There you go. Anyway, in the process, or after the process of doing this week 1 challenge, I had all of these colors of paint out, and I had some leftover bits and pieces, and of course I had a sheet underneath to catch all my paint drips and splatters. And here's what's left of that. It just looked so fabulous when I was done that I ended up using it, and I used it in here. I just put a journal page, which was practically the same thing as my Book of Days page. I had an extra, I printed out several of these little girl heads on different papers to decide which one I liked. I didn't like her printed out on white paper because she was too purple. Where is she? Yeah, this is how she came out. She was too purple, and that color just was not working for me, so I didn't want to use that. So I printed her out on a dictionary page, on a book page. I ended up using the book page, and this is the dictionary page, and then I just used this as my mask to cover her when I was doing other stuff. And I just glued my drop paper down on here, and then added some little extra stencil-y thingies here and there. I had an extra flower and stuck that in there. So I used my drop paper and made another one of these. And while I was working on this page, if you watched the video, you might have noticed that occasionally I would kind of clean up some excess paint with a Rolodex card, which are my ICADs for the year. So I would occasionally, gather the paint up on that. So I ended up with a couple of those, and I made some ICADs out of them. This one's, I don't know, that one's not really finished. It needs a saying or quote or something, but I had an extra flower, so I used it. So that one still needs something on it, but I have a finished one, and which is right here, which I just used to put my word of the year for 2014 and an extra flower. So, and that was just a clean up one, and then I sprayed some white on it, and there we go. So I got good use out of everything that it took to make this page, from extra printouts, extra flowers, drop papers. I used it all, basically, or at least I tried. I end up with a lot of the things that look the same, but I think that's kind of cool. It's like a whole theme thing going on. But anyway, from there, when I did this page in this journal, it still had a bunch of blank pages after it. This was the last one. I went ahead and ripped those out because, I can fold these up and use these in other journals. They're fine. But I just felt like this journal was done, even though I only used about half the pages that it came with. That doesn't matter. But see, it's already fat enough. I don't want it, I love a nice big fat journal, but for storage and display, I want it to be able to go on a bookshelf, or and just not be ridiculous. Because when they get like this, you have no choice but to set them out on a table or something. And I don't have a lot of flat surfaces left for that kind of thing. So I needed this to be able to close like a book. So I ended it. I called it done. Cut out the extra pages. I just sewed the front and back. This is one of those Strathmore visual journals. I think it's the mixed media paper. I'm not real sure. And I've shown all of this before, but I'll go through it real quick because I know somebody will say, I want to see the pages. Okay, here's the pages. And this was another one that was leftovers from a different project, from a tag swap that I was in. And I just used the leftovers to make the journal page. And these were different. This one was inspired by a page that Tracy did on her Mixed Media Monday. Tracy, I have a hard time with her last name. I think it's like Winesapple, but you know what I call it in my head? This is the only way I can like halfway remember how to pronounce her last name, and I think of it as wines half full. Like my wine glass is half full. It's Tracy with the half full wine glass. That's how I think of Tracy. I'm sure she'd probably be just thrilled to know that I think of her as a half-full wine glass. But that's, you know, that way I know that her last name is Winesapple, because it kind of sounds like wine's half full to me, because I'm weird. Okay, let's just edit that out later. Those are the flowers that I used in my Book a Days thing. They used to look like that, and they were in a vase. I got tired of them, took them apart, put some in here, and saved the other parts for later. And that was just a Paris page. That was just a doodle that I actually doodled in on a piece of wax paper, I think, and stuck it in. This is one of my favorites. Of course, it gets all smushed in here because these are supposed to be dimensional. But that's okay. But it is one of my favorite pages. I love that flower. And that was just a fun page. That one I drew it with the intention of coloring it in, and then realized that that would be stupid. I'm just going to have to be in the right frame of mind to do that kind of tedious coloring, let me tell you. So, I may do it someday, I may not. You know, I don't know. I like the doodle either way, so there we go. That was supposed to just be a background, but I really like it. It makes me happy just like it is, so guess what? I'm leaving it. And this one I love. It's just a little page. I saw these birds that somebody did on, I think a video, and so I had to do one. And that one, was that for a swap or something? This one, because I used this theme for something else, but I don't remember what. Oh well. Anyway, that's what that is. It's got a part of a poem from Alfred Lord Tennyson. It's The Miller's Daughter, a little piece of it, and it went well with the dress forms. This is just a plain pastel background, and I was just thinking this morning that all those appliques that I'm cutting out of that wedding dress would look so pretty on here, so I think that's what I'm going to do on there. Yeah, I've talked about that one before. I absolutely hate it, and I haven't really tried to fix it. I don't know. Maybe I'll work on that this afternoon. It needs help. I don't know what kind of help, but it needs help. This just makes me happy, just like it is. I have come to the realization that when it comes to art journaling, I am all about the backgrounds. I can knock out backgrounds just all day, every day, by the bucket load. It's the foregrounds that I struggle with. I don't like them. I don't want to do them. I can never think of what to put on them. They make me angry because I can never think of what to put on them. Therefore, I don't have tons and tons of full art journals, you know, with what you would typically think of as an art journal, because those stupid foregrounds hold me up. No more. I can't even believe that I let them hold me up. I don't know why. I just somehow bought into the idea that you have to have a foreground on your background. Well, why? I don't know why. You know, and I normally don't fall into those traps like that. I pretty much do what I want. But for some reason, I just didn't realize that I had got it in the back of my head that every background needs a foreground. Well, that's ridiculous. No, they don't. This made me happy. This process is my art journaling. I don't require the foreground. I don't require a lot of words. I don't have to express a particular thought or idea. This is what does it for me. So, you know what? This is not just a background. It is a foreground. It is a finished page, and I am going to have more of these in the future because that makes me happy. So there. Well, I don't know where that came from, but obviously I felt the need to get that off my chest. Okay. This one I love. It was leftovers from another something that I can't really remember what. That one I did not this past Halloween, but the one before. And that one I did, that was actually on a piece of wax paper too, that I just glued into the book. This one I just did the other day because I save all these little cut-off ends. I call them scrapbook paper butts because they're the little end off of the paper. And I save them because I don't know why, but I do. And I was getting kind of a lot of them, so I thought I probably better use them. So I stuck some of them on here, and I may put something over them, I may not, so there. And then I also took some of them, the plainer ones, and I just kind of made, wove them, weaved them, whatever, onto a Rolodex card. And I still got to cut out the little holes, and then I may put a little something over there, I don't know. But anyway, used up some of those, and then did this page and decided to call this journal done. My intention today was to film the painting of the covers, but I had to get all this other stuff off my chest first. I've been meaning to say that. The last thing is ICADs. Because I know I said I was going to film them, and I think I have filmed, one? So, it's better than none, right? And again, it's one of those, I'm just sitting on the couch. I don't really have a way to film that, so you can't really see those. So anyway, I promise I will work on it. I will get better. I think I've shown most of these because I haven't done one for every day, but my intention is to kind of get caught up today. I've done these. That's the one I did the video for. This is one I just did on the couch. It was very much like a journal page swap that I just did for someone that I really liked the way it turned out, so I just did it in the smaller scale on here. This one was for, I was fixing to do some stuff with some markers, and I was going through my box of permanent markers, and some of them were dried up, so I decided to see which ones were dried up and which ones were not. So this is literally just my scribble page. Just scribble on the marker to see, if it was dried up or not. And when I was done, it was looking really cool, so I just filled in with some more scribbles and called it a finished ICAD. So there you go. Doesn't have to be complicated. And then my change one. And that's all I have. I think I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6, and today is the 12th. But, I've got these I can add to. I've got all of these I can add to. I've even slapped just some stuff I had laying around on a few cards just to get them started. So, it won't be any big deal to get caught up. I just have to do it. Alright. So, is that it? Yes. I think that is it. Yes. No. I don't know. Okay, well, we're just going to end it there, and if I figure out what I have forgotten, I'll just make another video. There's no reason why I can't do that. So, that is it. I'm going to get busy working on something and doing my best to remember to film it while I do it. That's my goal for the year, is to try to actually remember to film the stuff that I do instead of just talking about it later. So, we'll see how that goes. Okay. No more. I'm done. Go away. The end.